Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, everybody? Hey.
What's up,
Body.
everybody? Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. It's the first of the month.
It's the first of the month. Okay, so if this is your first time joining us, this is Lamar,
And this is Angela.
and we are an expat couple living abroad, living our best life,
Yep.
and learning how to live life abundantly. Learning what that means. John 10:10. What does that mean? To have life and live life abundantly. So we encourage you to stick around because today we're going to talk about some important stuff.
Very important stuff.
But before we get into that,
oh boy.
If you have been a part of the fam, you know what's about to happen.
It's the first of the month.
Wake up.
It's the first of the month. What?
Okay, wait a minute. We got to try this again. All I want you to do is say, wake up, get up, wake up. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
Okay? I'll do the rest. You think he's going to be able to do it? I don't know. Let's see.
Wake up. What's the rest?
It's the first of the month.
It's the first of the
And
month.
on the first of every month, we like to go live and meet with our subscribers. Thank you for subscribing.
Yes,
if you're a longtime fan, we appreciate you.
For sure.
We enjoy being able to come on and talk about things about living in Mexico.
Yeah.
But then also living just the life that you decide is what is abundant.
Yeah.
In whatever means that is. But today,
I have a wet tongue on my leg. Louis, stop.
There's a puppy who wants some attention.
Yes.
But today, we're going to be talking about a kind of serious topic.
Yes, very serious.
Because if you've been so inclined to pay attention to politics, and if you've just been not hiding under a rock, and you live in the United States, you know that there's some stuff going on right now.
Some stuff that's not really cool.
Not cool at all. And so we wanted today to come on and make a video about if you haven't put together an exit plan, or if you haven't come up with a strategy to leave the United States.
Because right now it's crazy.
You might need to listen to these 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have 6. We thought we was going to have 5, but we came up with 1 extra.
Right.
So we want to put together and give you
Louis,
6 reasons
Louis.
why
Louis.
you need to come up with your exit plan. Come here, puppy. This is our baby.
A big baby. This is one of we have 3 dogs.
Yes.
And
this is our Yorkie, Louis.
And he's constantly. It's like when adults get on the phone, and your kids are off doing their own thing, and then all of a sudden they go, "Mom and Dad's on the phone."
And he was fine
mommy,
until he saw us.
Hey, mommy. What? Can't you see I'm on the phone? Mommy, I'm on the phone. That's what he does.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. Get out.
He's our baby.
He's not the smallest, but he's the baby.
And we love him.
Yeah.
Yes. But you, sir, have to go sit down because we got some important stuff to talk about. Okay? Say bye.
Bye, Louis.
If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the family. We are so excited and so thankful that you decided to come chitter chat with us.
Sure.
Get in them comments because we're about to have a conversation.
This is something, and actually what we're talking about, it affected us, our family.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not sure when you want to try to bring that story in. It'll come in.
But I mean, this is really important because things that are happening in the United States, how it's affecting families, people, it's just, oh my goodness, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Katrina.
Hey, boo. How are you? Good to see you online. Good. I'm glad that you came and stopped by. Girl, we got to talk.
Yeah.
Honey, let me tell you, because what has transpired within the last, I would even say the last 3 months or the first 100 days of this administration has just been complete and utter chaos. And so if you
Chaos, cruelty.
yeah. If you have not
Cruelty.
put together if you're on the fence
Yeah.
and you're thinking, maybe I could stay, maybe I could ride it out, maybe we can wait until the next 4 years of the next incoming administration. I'm telling you right now, we are determined to change your mind.
Yeah.
And help you make your reasons today why you need to get the heck out.
Yeah. I remember being in this situation a few years ago where I was like, I am so fed up to
Did you just go here? Did he go here?
Yeah, and it was just too much. It made my skin crawl.
Yeah.
So it's worse this time.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. So you know us, if you've been around for our lives, you know we like to hold you for a good time, not a long time. So we're going to try to make sure we stay within our usual hour, so that you'll be able to get the information and bounce. So here goes. Let's go. The first reason that I think people should get out is this one right here.
Yeah.
The wallet, as we like to call it, the wallet wobble. Economics
strain, cost of living.
Exactly. This up and down, up and down. Tariffs today, not tariffs. They up and down, It's crazy in the United States. Right. Crazy.
It's no wonder he's earned the new nickname of Taco.
Taco?
Yes.
Why are they calling him Taco? Because some people may not know.
Trump always chickens out.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But just trying to be a business owner,
right,
in that kind of climate, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine
small business owners.
How small business owners are expected to survive in that kind of constant instability.
Right.
A lot of small businesses don't have the wherewithal to recover,
or the capital,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the capital.
Don't have the ability to recover. Need to forecast. Their mortgage is on the line. Their school tuitions are on the line, right. or healthcare, and to provide healthcare for your employees, for yourself, and then to do the taxes and forecasting and all that kind of stuff. With this kind of economic instability, just for businesses, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But for regular, average Joes and Janes, what the heck is going on? How can you even depend on your job? Are you going to have a job?
Is there anything such as the name of a good government job?
No such thing.
Yeah, because it used to be a good government job, but I don't know now.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how to make and plan your life around the instability. If somebody's going to come in and lay off the entire company or lay off the entire staff or division or what have you, and now you're stuck in an area. I feel so bad for those people who live in rural areas where that was the only thing going. Yeah. And then say a government office closes down.
Oh boy, that's the domino effect of that.
Oh my gosh.
The cleaning companies, the suppliers, the people who supply office supplies, and of course cleaning companies, restaurants, people go to lunch.
Restaurants, paper supplies. And people who fix things for those.
Right. HVAC companies that come in and fix
It's alarming.
Yes.
It's alarming. And just let's okay, so we talked about even that, not to mention the cost of healthcare rising, education rising.
Right.
It's almost unsustainable in order to live in the United States.
Yeah.
You can't back in the day, you were able to possibly graduate from high school with a high school diploma, get a decent, good job paying, maybe in a factory or something of that nature. You were able to get a job
or something like that.
And then be able to support a whole family. You had a shot at getting a mortgage that you could afford, and then also being able to one day pay off said mortgage and have a home that you can possibly pass to your future generations.
Generation wealth.
Now, I feel so bad for young students, young kids getting fresh out of college, kids who are just trying to get their lives in order, lives intact, can't find a job. And then when you do find a job, you still can't afford to live off that one salary.
No.
It's crazy.
No, these kids are living paycheck to paycheck, paying back their student loans. And
outrageous student loans.
The unregulated now. The banks have been allowed to run amok, raise the interest rates.
Yeah. So back in, I think it was maybe around, I can't remember if it was 2006, 2007 or something like that, when the Congress at that time, Mitch McConnell and his cronies, decided to allow banks to raise the interest rates instead of keeping them at a cap for student loans. My student loan, my original student loan back in my undergrad days, 2%. 2%. You had a fighting chance to pay that joker off, which I did and was able to pay that off. But for students like our oldest daughter, her student loans, the loan she had, she consolidated them. Ridiculous the way banks are allowed to just gouge students.
It's almost like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
Because you need these people to come into the workforce, but at the same time, they're looking at it going, do I really want to go into debt, getting an education to go into a profession? I really want to get into teaching, being a doctor or an engineer.
But even if I get said job as a teacher,
right, I'm not making enough.
I'm not going to be able. I'm still going to have to drive Uber and have a second or third job just to be able to pay the bills, because they don't value teachers like that. But don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. So, here's an interesting thought that the other aspect of this that we hadn't yet talked about, that a statistic that I ran across.
What's that?
Healthcare. The U.S. healthcare system, a whopping 17% of GDP. Healthcare alone consumes 17% of U.S. GDP, which is outrageous. Outrageous.
Yes.
And healthcare costs are the leading cause of bankruptcies.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
The leading cause, 66.5%, y'all. 66.5%. That's crazy. That's crazy. And healthcare, I sound like Bernie Sanders. It's a human right. But it's true. You need everybody. The way the United States healthcare system is broken.
Yes, it is broken quite.
Is reason enough to leave the U.S. and to consider getting out.
I mean, here for us, healthcare, you going for your shoulder, me going for my shoulder.
For your shoulder.
Now.
We're going to be matching twins. We're going to have
yes,
my shoulder and your shoulder.
Yeah. I have to have my rotator cuff.
Yeah, Lamar Torres rotator cuff. Unfortunately.
So, but the cost of seeing a doctor here, oh my goodness, is so much less than the United States.
Right.
It is. It really is. And just this repair itself would probably in the range of 45, 50 grand.
Yeah.
Here it's, right around 10, I think US. So it is so much more of a cost.
I probably think that if I go back and maybe, I don't think I have that information about how much my shoulder cost back then. And we had insurance.
Yeah.
We had good supposedly good insurance, and it still costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's outrageous.
Mm.
It's really outrageous. So number one reason alone that you got to get out is the wallet wobble.
Right.
Because how are you actually able to save for retirement? I know. Okay. Can I vent for a minute? Can I vent for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay. I was watching a podcast. Now, I don't know if it was a podcast. It was something that popped up on YouTube. And it was a Susie Orman clip where Susie was giving all this advice about retiring and how you should have all this money. You need to have at least 5 million saved in the bank before you should think about retiring.
Right.
And perhaps, she was talking to some couple who had at least 3.2 million. Oh, that's not enough. You need to also have, whoa. So you need to start putting at least a smooth 70% of your income away if you want to retire next month. I was like, okay, first of all, Susie, who has enough income that they can live off of their current income,
right?
And then they can live off of 30% and take a smooth 70% of your entire income and squirrel that away for retirement. Who is she talking to?
It's not talking to me.
Who is she talking to?
Right.
Excuse me, ma'am. You must live in, I don't know where she lives, how she lives. Oh, you must live. Okay. And so I had to step back. I had to step back and kind of think of it again in different ways to figure out, okay, maybe she's talking to the person whose parents left them a home. And they've been able to live in that paid off home.
Or maybe a couple of homes, live in that home and rent the other one. And have passive income.
Income coming in over here. The house that you live in is paid for.
Right.
And you also went to college and have a
good government job.
And you're making at least 6 figures, right, and are able to live in the home that was given to you, while at the same time renting out and having other passive forms of income coming in, and then also have no children,
right?
Because your kids gonna eat that money alive if they go to college, or if they are. Who is she talking to?
Yeah, no, she's not the average person.
Hello, Susie. Excuse me. And I can't even remember where in the U.S. they lived. If they were living somewhere in the Bay Area, or I think, if I remember correctly, it was somewhere in California, but I don't remember where in California. So that's why she was inflating the numbers that you need to have. Oh, you need to save at least that, because you're going to need 5 million to retire at least. What?
Wow.
What? Saying the woman, now, I believe, if I remember correctly, Susie had a silver spoon in her mouth.
Yes, she did.
So I don't know who she was talking to, but the rest of us did not have that at all.
Yeah.
Did not have that circumstance at all. And so that's kind of like crazy that she would even suggest that kind of thing.
Of course she would, because she's not thinking with another lens. I'll put it like that.
That was very politically correct of you. I'm so proud of you. That was really good.
I was going to say something else, but
Can you live on
30% of your income?
30% of your income? If you can, drop that in the comments right now, please, so we can have some pointers, so you can share with the class how you're able to live on 30%. Because I was thinking I could see if it was flipped. And I thought when I was listening to it that she may have misspoke, that really she was saying that you can live on 70% and take a smooth 30% chunk, which is still, that's very admirable.
Yeah.
And take that and put that away each month off rip. and squirrel that away and invest that so that you could have that. Who is this?
And let's not forget that it's a gamble anyway.
Yeah, no.
Because, what if you hit with a catastrophic illness? So you're sitting there doing this balancing act. She's saying, save 70% of your income.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in a tragic car accident, or you hit with some kind of, terminal illness.
Mm-mm.
Boom, it's gone. So I don't know how this works for.
She ain't talking to Katrina. You're right. She ain't talking to regular folks like us. She can't possibly be talking to regular schmegular people who have bills and jobs and responsibilities and crazy employers and stuff that happens.
Teenage boys that eat all your food out your refrigerator.
Well, my God, today.
So
it's crazy. That's point number one.
Yeah.
Have we? I could probably go on and on.
Yeah, that's a wide open subject that could be talked about for about a good smooth couple of months.
Yeah, but this next one, I'll let you.
No, if you don't know, I'm a kind of like a late baby boomer. I'm on the tail end. I'm on that edge where I have a problem with my keeping my mouth in.
Lamar has no filter.
Yes,
in other words, he has no filter. So we're y'all pray for the brother. We're trying to work on his, but it's getting worse, y'all.
Yeah.
And even in the midst of the stuff going on today, I can't even say
so you got the policy issues, but then on the inside of the camp, they're fighting, punching each other out, shoving each other, and then the communications person is going to say, oh, we've got people who have spirited ways of conversation. No, they whip and tail up in there.
Just the political instability.
Yes.
That the current administration, I will say,
yes,
thrust upon the world is ridiculous and ought to make you want to roll out today.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of this video, we're trying to convince you why you got to go.
Yeah.
We're trying to convince you why you got to get out. Save yourself and get out. Now, here's the deal. I used to be the Maryland co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. This is a campaign that began back in the days of Martin Luther King. It was actually Martin Luther King's idea to have poor people all throughout the country, regardless of race, regardless of geography, regardless of religion,
yes,
regardless of those things that typically divide us, come together because we all are on the same page.
In the same boat.
And the powers that be would like to have us fighting against each other, would like to have us arguing and fighting against each other and have the racial divide or the sexual divide or the geographic divide or just all kinds of divides artificially come up to separate people who really are on the same side.
Right.
So the political climate that we wind up in today, the political climate that we find ourselves in is one that has been ginned up and manufactured in terms of pitting one person against the other and sides against this. And let's not even get into white nationalism and all those kinds of things. Please, y'all, don't get me started. It's my pet peeve.
Yes.
Right.
This is part of your what? She's writing a book, guys. Anyway, she's writing a book about this very subject, and it's a tinderbox. It's something that is just absolutely going to burst in. What already has burst into flames, and the things that they're doing some things from a policy standpoint that are cruel.
It's cruel. Okay, so let's get on to it. You want to talk about it?
So, our youngest,
yes,
graduated from high school.
4.3.
4.3.
I'm so proud of her.
And this was with honors classes. So she's very smart. She's an intelligent young lady.
She wants to be a nurse
and possibly even move on to being a doctor.
She actually wants to be a doctor. Gabby, if you're watching this, you know you really want to be a doctor. But She wanted to opt in, oh, doctor, maybe I don't have,
I think she can do it.
She can do it.
She can. Oh, for sure, she can do it.
Totally.
So,
but in this climate of instability, the Department of Education being closed for no reason, or threatening to be closing, student loans, Pell Grants being snatched away, a lot of financial aid that colleges thought they were going to be able to depend on because of the federal government are now snatched. Research grants snatched. All kinds of things like that snatched. Because of that instability, she said, you know what? Maybe I should try making sure I have a trade under my belt first before I go to college, because then that way, that will, if anything happens and I need to get a job to support myself, to put myself through school, then I might be able to handle that. Gabby does not want to graduate with a lot of student loan debt.
And who does?
She didn't want to graduate that way. She wanted to be able to work and go to school, work on her degree, graduate, get a job, and move into society productively without being hindered by mounting student loans. My nephew has a student loan. It originally was only $80,000. It's over $200,000 now in interest.
Wow.
That's a house.
Yes.
That's a freaking house.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to do that. So what she decided to do, we live here in Mexico. She decided that, you know what? I think I want to go to Job Corps. I think I want to go to Job Corps because in Job Corps, I can get my CNA and also go get my LPN license, as well as many other certifications that I can rack up in the time period that I'm there. And then I still can go to college right after that. So her plan was to go to Job Corps and then graduate from that program with her certifications and then go straight into college and then do a nursing program in college.
Let's not forget that, excuse me, Job Corps also provides housing, provides healthcare, provides education as far as
if you don't have a GED, if you don't have your GED, they'll help you get your GED,
high school diploma. Driving lessons if you do not have a driver's license.
And you need to have a driver's license.
They give you a stipend every 2 weeks, so you can have money.
And the stipend is only like $80.
So you can get your toiletries and things like that. And then when you come to the end of your time there, they do job placement for you.
You get a job.
They give you a starting
a small little stipend to kind of get you off into
the world,
because you're leaving with nothing. So that a lot of these kids are coming from poor families. They're coming from destitute situations,
bad situations.
Yeah, that they literally have no place to go. And she went to the United States.
I dropped her off
on the 21st.
Yes. That Friday after she got there,
they were called into a meeting on the 29th. To say that the Job Corps program is shutting down.
They said,
and you have until
pause.
Oh yeah, that's right. The administration knows they can't just blatantly cut the thing like that.
Temporary
we're going to pause it, and we're going to require that all the centers all across the country just be shut down by June 30th. So these kids who have nowhere to go, no place to go to, have not finished their certifications, have not finished working toward GEDs or whatever they were currently working on. These kids are being turned out into the streets with nothing.
Right. And when she got there, the day that they made this announcement, the day before, 3 young ladies had just arrived.
Just shown up.
Just arrived to start their education at Job Corps, and they shut it down. Then the next day, they called another meeting saying, oh, sorry, June 30th? No, June 4th.
Y'all got to be out
by June 4th. And that was this week. So June 4th is this coming weekend, Wednesday. And it was like, wait, hold up, guys. What are you doing?
So a lot of these kids have to find a place to live. Not only find a place to live, what the hell am I going to do? I'm really trying not to cuss, y'all.
Yeah. So
I'm trying not to curse.
So these kids, and not to mention the employees. These employees have families. They have mortgages. They have kids who may be in school.
Let's
tuition.
not even get into the employees, the contractors that work for Job Corps, that were providing these services, were working with these young ladies and men that were trying to pour into these kids to try to help them get on track. You have, in order to get into Job Corps, Job Corps has a zero tolerance on drugs, zero tolerance on violence or what have you. So in order to even get into Job Corps, you're drug tested immediately.
Right.
And then if they find drugs in your system, you have 45 days to get that together.
Right.
No more drugs, or you got to go.
Exactly.
Same thing with violence or fighting.
Right.
No fighting, zero tolerance. One of the counselors was telling us about some young ladies who got to Job Corps, weren't about their business, and were fighting over a hairbrush. All of them got kicked out.
Right.
Same day, out. Zero tolerance. So the facts and figures that a Doge staffer gathered from 2003. Cherry-picked is a really good word.
He cherry-picked
statistics from a 2003
pieced
report.
them together.
And the 2003 report is from COVID. Is during the time of COVID. So they want to point to not too many kids graduate from Job Corps. Yeah, that was COVID. That was COVID when everybody had to leave.
Right.
What? Outrageous. So
they needed a way to do it. They needed a way to do it, to sell this, and that's what they did.
This is another reason why you got to get the hell out of the United States. They do not care. They do not care. They are stripping away funding for Head Start. So they don't care about the kids getting an education. They are stripping away breakfast programs, Pell Grants, all kinds of financial student aid programs that would help a kid get an education. Okay, so you don't want them to be in Job Corps. You don't want to help them get a trade so they can get a job.
Right.
So you want them to now what? You want them to do what? Because now there's Section 8 is out the window now too. So they have no place to live. And so what do you expect vulnerable, at-risk students, young people to do? What do you expect them to actually do when they are faced and put out on the street? Ooh, y'all don't get me started.
Yeah, these kids are in for a world of hurt. I don't know what they're going to do. I can't even imagine. And to hear your daughter crying on the phone because she was so upset, because she was looking forward to getting started with her nursing education.
Was making friends.
She had gone to church.
Had found a little church
to go to. She went to church.
She had found a church to go to, was making friends, was really excited about
and
going.
This is a cute little small town in Southern Virginia.
Little small town.
And a great situation.
Blue Ridge.
It was a nice little place. The dorm was a former women's college.
The whole place, the whole environment was a formerly closed college that Job Corps has taken over to now provide training. And some of the training is really good training. To be able to get, as IT people, to be able to get your AWS certification, that is going to change the trajectory of a lot of people's lives.
But the basic, or not basic, but the ones that they've always carried: electrician, plumbing, carpentry, HVAC. Okay, these are
trades that are needed today.
And
nurses.
HVAC is a not inflation, what I was thinking, recession-proof occupation, because grocery stores need HVAC. The trucks on the road, refrigerated trucks need HVAC. Electricians, that's recession-proof. Plumbing, recession-proof.
Right. So you got a program that will take these young kids in, that will help educate them, that will give them a trade, and then turn them out into the world so that they can be productive members of society. And that is what you figure, getting rid of programs like that is what you call Make America Great. I'm sorry, if you haven't picked up, I am not a fan of the Trump administration. So if you're a MAGA, or a Trumper, you might as well leave because there's no love over here for you.
No,
there's no love for you. And if you
again,
are, please,
oh my goodness,
don't go in my comments. Don't go in the comments because I don't want to hear it. Not on today, beloved. Not on today.
No.
Because the situation that the United States is creating, is facilitating, if you have not yet thought of why you need to get the H out. I peeped this back in 2018. Like I mentioned earlier, I was a chair of the Poor People's Campaign in Maryland. I got arrested several times with other leaders. I call it a badge of honor to be arrested for protesting at the Supreme Court or protesting at the Senate for when they block and take things away, when they put children in cages at the border.
Right.
I am damn sure going to be on that front line protesting against that stuff. And so when I began to see how the administration that Trump previously was in was making moves to put lifetime appointments on these courts, these federal courts,
right.
Lifetime appointments with people who were not even qualified to walk my dog. I was like, whoa, this is a problem. When you start looking at how the sausage is made, we're from DC.
Yeah.
When you start looking at how the sausage is made and seeing what they were sneaking in and getting passed, bills that were getting passed, and it was not on anybody's radar as much as we tried to throw up the red flags, wasn't on anybody's radar, and how them chips were being stacked. Project 2025 is not a new thing. They've been working on this.
Right.
And we kind of peeped that back in 2018.
The big, beautiful budget bill.
Don't do it.
The stuff, there are things that are buried in that bill that are going to hurt people.
People will die.
Yes.
And that is not hyperbole. People will die because of this bill.
They're removing subsidies and funding from Medicaid, where elderly people will go back to either rationing their insulin.
They already are rationing pills. And so they won't be able to get the medication to save their life. People will die.
Yes.
And so that in and of itself is reason to get out, because this is a mess.
Yes.
And this is going to be a mess for quite some time. It's going to take decades. To undo the damage that is being done right now. Decades. Now, for us, we're getting in we grown and sexy. You know?
Yeah.
We are.
I'm getting into the seasoned adult kind of range right now.
Exactly, but I ain't got time.
No.
Decades, I don't have time
No.
to live a messed up, jacked up life because of these policies. And so for that reason, for reason number 2, right down there below,
right,
you got to get the hell out. I mean, I'm just saying,
right.
The polarization and the instability that is being offered, just the way this current administration is moving amongst other allies in the world. It's crazy. Just the way he has been able to stack the deck against us. And we look crazy out here in these streets.
Yeah.
We look crazy out in these international streets.
We got Portugal in the house.
We do? Andrea. Hi, boo. Girl, do you see what's going? Now, Andrea is out.
Yes.
Bless God.
Yes.
She and her
husband,
amazing husband, Gene, they have gotten out.
Mm-hmm.
But girl, we over here talking to the people who are still in the matrix. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hey, stable movement, what's going on? Yeah. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
What, girl? Andrea, y'all. Huh. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy, this political climate that we find ourselves in right now. I'm glad at least the president of Mexico got balls.
Yeah, she got
or shall I say cajones?
Cajones.
She has cajones. Eh?
She.
And will stand up to just the craziness.
Yes.
It's just, I can't.
He's come at her and she's pushed back real hard.
She has. She's made me proud.
Yeah.
She's made me proud, and I'm not. I'm still. We are still American citizens.
Yeah.
We are legal residents of Mexico, but we don't see us coming back.
No.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And the other reason that it's not going to happen is for this reason right here. The gun violence. I cannot tell you the number of times that I've lost count to figure out when we hear about gun violence. Now we've been so accustomed to gun violence,
yes,
that when you come outside of the United States, you realize America has a problem.
They have a major problem.
A major problem with guns. Serious problem. So much so that the president of Mexico here said, you know what? We would be good if y'all could get your act together.
Right.
Because guns are not a thing here. The way that people get guns here in Mexico
is from the United States.
It's from y'all. So thank you very much. If you guys could get your act together in terms of the guns, thank you, because we wouldn't have a problem.
I'll reiterate this again. In the country of Mexico, there's one place you can get guns. It's in Mexico City. It's in a military installation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to provide all kinds of paperwork, all signed by God himself, to get a firearm. You have to prove why you need a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do it. I researched it before we came because I did have, because of MAGA, because of the folk that were on the other side, I did have one firearm, and I researched and I said, can't bring it because they don't allow being brought here. You have to have special permission.
And show reason. Why do you need a
gun?
Why do you need a gun?
So the guns here, and they come from the United States because of the easy way to go to a gun show, all those things, and then they smuggle them across the border.
Here's the other fun fact. People always talk about the propaganda that exists in the United States about the cartels, cartels. There would not be a cartel they're supplying the United States. So if the United States could get their act together with the guns, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime. If y'all could get their act together, please, thank you, up there.
Right.
Then it would dry up because you don't see that here. You just don't see that.
Every once in a while you may hear about one or two, but that's because of the guns that are coming from the United States.
Right.
The United States is the worst in this area. There are no other countries that have this type of problem with firearms.
Yeah.
In Australia, if you have a rifle and you go to purchase ammunition, they actually track how much ammunition that you purchase, and you're only allowed to have so much per month.
Right. Wow.
So, it's not like in the United States when we were there, and I heard these stories from many of my friends that were going to get ammunition, that there will be lines out the door on Fridays, and by Saturday afternoon, all of the ammunition was gone, from 22s to 9mm to 45, 70, all of it, 357, 38 special, 30, gone. And it would be every weekend like that.
It broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart. I mean, I'm literally like almost about to cry. My friends who are educators, and if you're an educator, you know that this is a near and dear subject. When you have to teach your kindergartners how to defend themselves against an active shooter, when you have to go over gun protocols in your classroom against active shooters for your babies,
yes,
that says there is a problem. When you're selling bulletproof backpacks for babies, that's a problem. And the fact that the United States does not want to fix this issue is a reason why you got to get it.
I've never looked up, when you talk about bulletproof backpacks, how much do those cost? Who can afford that?
But even still, why does my 2-year-old, why does my second grader need a backpack that's bulletproof? Explain that to me. Why aren't they learning how to write letters and learn cursive?
Learn cursive is right, because most of these kids think that cursive is a foreign language.
Why
But
aren't they
anyway,
learning those things as opposed to stopping the middle of the day to do an active duty shooter drill?
Active shooter drill.
I can't go to church now.
Right.
I can't go to a movie theater,
supermarket,
a concert,
right,
without being threatened for gun violence. It's insane. And I didn't realize how bad the gun violence and all that was until we came to Mexico.
Yeah.
And you see the opposite. You feel very safe. I feel safer here in Mexico. And I felt even safer in other countries that we've been to recently than I ever have in the United States. For that reason alone, we gots to go.
Yeah.
Gots to go. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh gosh, we got to get through our list because we're not going to keep you for a long time, but a good time. We're going to make sure we hit our points and make sure you know what it is. But the other thing, this here right here,
unfinished racial justice and inequality.
This here right there,
yeah.
This here right there.
Writing a book about the.
Listen, the United States was conceived in a foul manner. Let me just say like that. And I'm really, if you know me personally, you know I'm a preacher, but I cuss. And I'm working on it. I'm really working on it. But if there's ever a topic that gets my goat and will cause me to cuss, is this one right here. The racial injustice. And it's so polarizing to the extent that there are some people who are clueless. The Black Lives Matter movement, very much needed movement, very much important movement, but just the tone deafness that existed around simply saying that, Black lives matter. They matter. Oh, all lives matter. And yes, they do. Yes, all lives matter. Who said that they don't matter? But right now, right here, we're talking about Black lives, because the racial injustice, the ability for a police officer to just arbitrarily take some Black person's life while taking another active shooter who shot up a church
to Burger King
to get you hungry. I mean, what?
And that's not the first time that's happened where they've treated a non-melanated person with absolutely respect and looking out for their well-being, whereas with a melanated person who probably didn't even do anything wrong. So recent, Mr. Hinton, I believe his name is, his son was shot and killed.
Yeah, you talk about him. Mm-hmm.
And everybody is applauding him in a way, because people will say two wrongs don't make a right. But he took the officer out with his car. And then they tried to intimidate him in the court by having, I think it was 35, 40 sheriffs staring him down. And he looked at all of them like, yeah, do that again. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. And because Black folk today aren't the same Black folk of yesterday. They're not putting up with this. There was an incident in Atlanta where two young white men decided to come to a park in full KKK regalia. They were
in Atlanta,
and they were killed in that park. Done. They're not playing this anymore. Don't think that Black folk in the United States are not readying themselves. Don't think that they're not sitting there going, I'm not coming after you, but you're coming over here. You're going to walk over here. You're going to limp back, or you're going to be dragged out of here in a pine box.
But the point of it all is that it's draining.
Yes, it is draining.
It's draining to have to fight the same fight that my grandparents fought.
Yes.
The fight that they fought and eventually did win, but having these wins rolled back. It's draining. It's draining to have to fight for the same rights that we already established. And so now we're rolling back stuff because what? Because white supremacists want to feel on top again? Listen.
We just heard this morning in Florida, they're flying drones looking for people who they believe are not supposed to, and they're rounding them up.
And the sad part about it is that many did not believe.
No.
Did not believe. Oh, he's not a racist. But explain to me why the racists think he's racist.
Right.
How about that, huh? The racists think he's racist. So you thinking he's not is like what? They're on his side. Hello?
Yeah.
So the whole notion of having to refight or regain wins in battles that we had long ago won, the blood that has already been spilt on the soil for our voting rights has already been spilt. We don't need to go back.
Right.
And so at this point, it's a matter of either you're staying to fight the good fight and you're in it to possibly be in turmoil and chaos, or you're out.
And right now, Black folk in the United States are in stand down mode. We're not joining in any protests. We're not joining in any kind of demonstration because that's what they want. They want just one time for it to happen in order for...
Oh, you're saying they're looking for a reason to start up a war?
No, to enact martial law.
Oh, right, sure.
To bring the military out into the streets to lock everything down.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a reason. They know that they, just like what we talked about earlier about Job Corps and saying it was a temporary pause, they can't really just shut it down. They can't really do it without a reason. They need a reason to do this.
They are trying to find slick ways to do it.
Because there are rules to all of this still. And they know they need to do this before they really enact everything they need to basically install a dictatorship.
Well, somebody explained to me, and I still have not yet been able to find anyone to explain to me, what is wrong with diversity, equity, and inclusion? What is wrong with diversity? What it is DEI is now code word to racists to mean that, oh, they're going to take away your stuff, your
Right.
privilege.
Right.
The edge that you had, you're no longer going to have anymore. So now we're going to get rid of those very programs that help to level the playing field so that all people are on the same level,
Right.
and to also offer a different perspective.
But here's the thing, if you're not going to lose anything, so if it means equity, to be equal.
Right.
So if you're not losing anything and the people who are not at the same level come up to your level and you're not losing anything, what's your complaint? The complaint is, I don't want you up here. I don't want you around.
You're going to take my spot or take something from me, and I was the top dog on the rung.
Right.
And therefore, if I'm going to eliminate these programs so that you won't have an opportunity.
That's the thing.
Inclusion is the very reason why we need to have people with seats at the table. There are perspectives that I am not someone who is other abled. You know, I don't sit in a wheelchair.
Right.
I don't have those kinds of issues. Thankfully, I don't have that.
Right.
However, I need to know as a person implementing policy that programs that things I don't even consider may need to be considered by having somebody at that table who's able to advocate for those programs.
But here's the thing. As far as the racial injustice, they are voting for things. I'm going to vote, so I'm going to destroy it for myself because I don't want you to have it either. I'm going to destroy these things because I don't want the brown people
to have. So you're talking about
it.
people who vote against their own self-interest?
Self-interest. And they do it, and it's a racial component behind this.
You weren't singing a song, I will vote for Donald Trump. You know, you weren't voting with the Cubans for the MAGA Q.
And that's the thing. It's amazing. And it's kind of like this. I don't want that, and I'm not going to, so you're not going to have it either. I'm just going to burn it up and burn it all down.
So let me get this straight. You're a Wisconsin farmer. or you're a farmer in Idaho,
right,
who your farm depends on migrant labor. You can't run your farm without these illegals in the country or on your field picking your tomatoes or picking your
harvesting your potatoes,
exactly,
or any of that.
So you decided to vote for an administration that would remove these people who have been your lifeline. And now that they have left and gone, your family farm that's been in the farm in your family for 2, 3, 4 generations is now about to go down. And the reason it's going down is because you voted for policies that fixed immigration.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Right. And these farmers will tell you real quick, these migrant workers, they work hard, they show up every day, they do the job thoroughly, professionally, and have a great work ethic. Yet now they're sitting there going, who's gonna harvest my vegetables?
We can't get American workers to go out there and stand for 12 hours in the sun and pick strawberries.
Let's not talk about J.D. Vance and the initiative that he has is an investment group to go out and buy up all these farms that are now being abandoned or being lost or going into foreclosure because of this. There's a grand scheme to all of this to take over all of these things to make money. It's a grift. It's a shame.
And it's because of this statistic right here. The wealth gap in 2021, white households, non-Hispanic white households had 10 times more wealth. 10 times more wealth. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people who are non-melanated, and it's amazing when you actually sit down and have a really deep conversation with them to try to understand where they're coming from, that they don't realize that there are people out here who don't have it like that.
Right.
Well, if Job Corps shuts down, just like maybe one of her relatives can pay for her college.
What?
Well, maybe she has why don't you try asking one of your family members if she can come stay in their spare house? And they were serious.
Yes.
They were serious about that, y'all. They were serious. Like their spare house, as if we've got family members that have their Malibu home and their home up in Nyack, New York as well.
Right.
And what? No, boo-boo, no. So there's no, you guys don't have any other family that has, at least perhaps she could have, go stay at one of their vacation homes. Now, that's not to say black folk don't have vacation homes.
Yeah.
That there have been some black folks who have been able to do well for themselves and maybe have been able to take advantage of, if your grandfather went to college,
right,
and then your father went to college,
correct,
and then was able to send you to college. You got 3 generations of college educated people. But for some of us, I was the first. And for some of us, I had to put my own way through. So it's really, that's why DEI is so important, because you need to have inclusion and equity at that table so people can voice like, yo, no, Susie Ormond, we don't have 30% of our income, that we can't just live off of just 30%. If you just tuned in late, y'all missed that. Go on back and look at you can check out the beginning of the video for that. But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And so for that reason alone, you got to go. Oh, her Tampa's crazy.
She's new. I saw her. She subscribed the other day.
Wonderful. Yeah, from Stephanie. That's our girl.
Yeah,
hey. That's our girl.
Hey.
We love her.
Yes, we do.
We love her. She's a good friend.
Yes.
And so we are thankful that you came by. But girl, pull up a chair, sit down and talk.
Yes.
I mean, because We trying to get, if you're not already out of the US, we have made no bones about it. Right. We are trying to convince you to stay. Now, mind you, previously we have been kind of on the fence, I would probably say. If your version of an abundant life involves living in the United States, that is you. Right. That is you. But today we're saying no. Get out, because it is not good for us. We have got to have it. You have got to get that escape plan and already be implementing your plan to get out. We're trying to pull as many Black folks with us as possible. Yes. We're doing the Underground Railroad over here. We're trying to get as many folks up out of there because the ship is going down. Yeah, it definitely is. The ship is going down. Yeah, for sure. And so there it is. I mean, I'm just going to put it. The co-captain is high all the time. Ooh. No. Are you calling the co-captain? The shadow president. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I haven't heard about J.D. Vance doing the puff pass. Elonia Musk. He's high all the time. Oh my gosh. Here's another fact and figure we're going to go into. The median wealth for Black households, right, according to the Census Bureau in 2024, 24,000. Compared to $250,000 to white households, $250,000, Now, if you are a part of our channel, if you've been, or even if you've been a follower of Stephanie Perry's channel, you know that some of these numbers don't even make no sense to where we live. No. Who has $250,000 in their savings account in their bank? Now, if you're a Black person that does, power to the people. Yes, absolutely. But the majority of us don't have it. We are robbing Peter to pay Paul just to make sure the lights stay on. And so for that reason alone, you've got to go. Yeah, for sure. Got to get up, got to raise up. So can we speak on this one? Well, you talked about it earlier. The fifth reason. The elimination of the Department of Education. So you're getting rid of public schools. You mean the Linda McMahon who said A1? The A1 instead of AI? AI. She called it A1. Right. She's the head. She's a real genius, isn't she? The Department of Education. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Unqualified. You talking about DEI hire? That's okay. She must be bringing diversity. Yeah. I'm serious. She must be bringing the diversity because you got maybe they're trying to diversify with some dum-dums on the cabinet. Well, I'm just saying. Well, they flooded the cabinet with dum-dums in. I'm just saying. Maybe she's bringing a different flavor of dum-dum. Huh? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe. I'll wait. I mean, just it's amazing. And here's the brain drain. You have created an environment where people who have researchers, people who have PhDs and things of that nature, who generally try to push the needle of innovation and all that kind of stuff, they don't want to come to the United States. No. Why would I? If research money is drying up left and right, people can't go to college. People can barely get a good education out of public high school. Yeah. It's a rare thing. Right. You're snatching away Head Start. You're not providing ways for children who are hungry, who go to school each day. And it's important for them to have a meal for their brain to function. So you don't want that. You're underfunding public schools. And now they're pushing it back to the states, which means state budgets that were already overtapped don't have the economic means to be able to provide good education for their children. There are some red states that are on the verge of going bankrupt. And then on top of that, you want to allow people to take their money and not put it in public schools because, I want to make sure I keep my money to not damn everybody else. I want to make sure my kid is whatever. So I'm going to take these stipends or I forgot what the name, it's escaping me right now because I want to cuss. And so they want to take that money and take it out of the public education process and allow them to be able to put it into the public or private school of their choice,
Right.
which is fine until you realize that the people who are left in those areas, vouchers, thank you, people who are in those areas, in poor and low income areas, already don't have it. Right. So the teachers are not going to be teaching. If I got to pull out of my pocket to buy supplies for my classroom to teach my kids, in the midst of me having to dumb down the education because we don't want them reading, we don't want them being able to think critically, and in the midst of me also having to do active shooter drills. Come on, somebody, make it make sense. Make it make sense. We have got to, y'all, we have got to get out. The killer is in the house.
Yes.
Get out while you still can, because it's absolutely insane. The United States is going down.
Yeah.
It's going down. It's going down.
And
I am the dream of my ancestors. Literally, the dream of my ancestors. My mother wanted to go to college. She wasn't able to. She came up through Jim Crow segregation. She wasn't able to go to college. So, and her mother before her was a domestic. Her mother before her was a slave. Her mother before her, slave. We talking, the lineage goes on. All right. I am their wildest imagination dream. Someone who could be able to go on and not only graduate from high school, which my mother was able to achieve, but she never was able to go to college. But her dream was that her kids would go to college. She didn't have a way to send them, not a dime to be able to put them through. But her dream was that one day her kids would go to college, and her beyond wildest dream would be that one day somebody's going to call my kid, my Black African-American kid, Dr. Angela.
Dr. Angela.
So I am their dream. I am their dream. But what is the good of that dream if I can't make it work? If I'm not allowed to be able, if I'm unable, if I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and not because we are balling out of control trying to keep up with the Joneses, we're just trying to keep the lights on.
Right.
And so for all of those reasons, you got to get out. Mm-hmm. You got to go.
Do we have one more?
You got to go. I'll tell this last statistic. A recent poll of over 1,600 US-based scientists found that more than 75% are considering leaving the country. How is that going to fare when you need somebody to develop a vaccine for the next strand of COVID?
Right.
And they rolled out and left because they're going to other countries that appreciate and value people who have research abilities.
I mean, think about this. They are right now watching bird flu right now, jumping from birds to cattle to dogs to cats to humans. And this is a real concern.
Yeah.
And now the CDC has been, they've laid off or fired thousands of employees of CDC. So they're no longer giving out these threat warnings on.
They're no longer issuing the threats from food contamination and stuff like that. We're not going to be getting the proper notifications when automobiles have malfunctions.
Well, that was facilitated by Elon Musk because he went after the head of Department of, I can't think, but he's the one that traffic,
Mm-hmm.
And made him resign. So because his company, Tesla, was facing multiple lawsuits, complaints, fines, and he wanted to get from up under those. So what am I going to do? I'm going to force this person out so I don't have to deal with it.
What am I going to do? I
don't want to follow the rules.
Make billions of dollars of campaign donations to the president and get on his good side.
Right.
And therefore, he'll make all my problems go away.
Mm.
Lastly, the very last thing, and we thought that we would, at first we had 5, but Climate change. Now, climate change is something that's going to affect the entire planet, but the United States is not even
getting rid of
trying
EPA,
to deal with it.
Getting rid of the EPA, rolling back all kinds of regulations.
Getting rid of FEMA. How do you get rid of FEMA in the midst of hurricanes that now are Category 4 level?
Right.
Who does that?
So here you got the MAGA governor, Miss Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Which was
Miss Sanders.
You talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders?
Yes. She's begging the president, send money here after all these destructive tornadoes coming through. And he's like, no. So he doesn't care about anybody.
Right.
Anybody. The South Carolinas, down there after, they're still sitting there struggling because they're not getting money to repair or to rebuild after the last hurricane.
It's alarming. It's alarming. It really is.
What you said earlier, because of the changes they made, people are literally going to die.
People are going to die.
They're going to die.
People are going to die. And I hate to, Joni Ernst? Well, we all got to die. What? It's outrageous. It's outrageous. We all got to die. What? People are going to die because of your policies.
Right.
Because of your policies, people will die. Like Lamar said, I'm writing I can't even. Lord help me.
Yeah, she's writing a book, so look out for that, folks.
6 reasons why you
got to get out.
Get the hell on.
Yeah, you got to get out.
Get yourself to safety.
Yes.
Put on your own oxygen mask and get yourself to safety, y'all.
Coming to Mexico, you can come here, get your temporary residency, prove that you can support yourself, get your temporary residency, and you don't have to stay.
But let's not even just limit it to Mexico, because Mexico isn't the only country.
Panama, Portugal.
Other countries all over the world. This big, beautiful world of ours has so many other places that may be your judge. Get on it right now if you have not considered where you're going to go. We have videos on our channel here. Go back through the playlist and check it out if you need help to try to figure out what country should I go to? Or even if Mexico might be on your judge list, check out our videos. Check out our videos that are detailing our entire process of how to do it. Because for some people, it really is, how do I get this started? Join Exodus Summit. Someone already mentioned before, Stephanie Perry, our good friend, Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow. Join Exodus Summit, a community of like-minded individuals that will also try to help you get the hell on out so that you can live a life of abundance. And abundance meaning in a way that this life brings you fullness.
It brings you
It
joy,
brings you
peace.
joy. It brings you peace. You can get up in the morning and not be afraid about what tomorrow has for it.
Or having to go and spend $24 on a dozen eggs.
She said it was 30.
Ooh.
It was, my sister recently, when she lives in DC, had to buy eggs, and it was $30.
Wow.
I'm on the phone with her and I'm hearing her scan her eggs. $30. What?
Dogs, eggs are still 18 eggs are still what, $2?
$2, and I think we paid $2.34.
Yes, today, yeah.
Come on, y'all. We want to make sure, we want you to find the happiness that you deserve. Yes. We want you to have the life, as Jesus says, have life and have it abundantly. Have life and have it abundantly now. You don't have to wait until the hereafter. You don't have to wait until the hereafter. You can have life and have it abundantly now.
Yes.
We want to get y'all out.
Yeah.
Let's make a plan today, y'all.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Like we said, we've gone a little over all of our regular subscribers. Y'all know we don't normally do this.
It's an important topic, though. It really was. It is, and it is. I don't see it getting any better. Yeah. While this man is still there, I don't see it.
I see it getting horribly worse.
Horribly worse. We're only in He's only been in office. What's today's June 1st?
Yeah.
What is that? 5 months?
A little shy of 5 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, he is making
And
a.
y'all want to give him another 4 years to 3 years to ruin see the rest of the 3-year nightmare? No.
No.
You deserve better.
Yes, you do.
And we want better for you.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Absolutely.
It's time to pull the trigger on your plans. So if you can make the math and the numbers crunch, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
If you need any help, look us up.
Hit us up.
Hit us up. We'll definitely help you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Taking your shoes off.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Take care.
Take care.
See ya. Bye.